Well, hello there. It's Thursday the 25th of June 2020 and here you are with Dan in Essex, UK. I'm a very keen home grower of fruit and vegetables, and this evening I've been doing a little bit of harvesting. So let's have a look at what I've picked so far. Okay, so here I have picked, in here there's 0.6 of a kilo of cherries, including the container they're in. So we'll call that half a kilo of cherries. So that's about 0.1 of a kilo picked in one session. These are variety Stella. So this wasn't strictly picked this evening. In fact, this fell off the tree, this peach tree, variety Dixie Red. It fell off, I think it was about 2 evenings ago. So I picked it up, took it inside, ripened it on the windowsill, and it is indeed now ripe. You can hear that pigeon up there. There's lots of pigeons around here. We'll get into those in a moment. Okay, so many of you are aware that I'm a keen proponent of gardening aesthetics. So I think that these net curtains and this curtain here look absolutely fantastic on this tree. Please comment down below what you think. So, here we go. Got loads more on here. There's easily the same on here as I've already picked, probably more. So there you go. Like, look at them. Look, I'm going to pick those in a moment. I mean, look at them. They're ready for picking. Look at those. So there's plenty on there. I'm expecting this tree to totally ripen, or the crop on it rather, to ripen within the next week or so. So I'll be coming out here every evening. Another pigeon flying overhead, and yeah, hopefully I'll have picked all of these cherries by the end of the week. So we've got more up here. As I look, you can see, look, a big load of them. And another one, yep. Awful. Can you hear them? I mean, look at it, look. I tell you, right, these, they want it. They want these cherries. See that one there, look? Can you see it? Just over there, look. They so badly want them. So yeah, literally over the last few days, really had to be very careful with regards to having this covered up, because it's like they can smell them, seriously. So yeah, so you can see there's plenty more on that tree to come. Yes, so of course there was an issue with regards to growing cherries before, and that was cross-pollination. But with this variety Stella, which was the first self-fertile variety to be introduced to the UK, that wasn't an issue. You can produce them with only one tree. So that's a very important aspect. Of course, now with the advent of dwarving rootstocks as well, that gives people with smaller gardens and, you know, an element of flexibility. You can grow cherries in a small garden, and obviously commercially they tend to have moved away from larger trees now because they're easier to pick from a smaller tree. You can get trees into a smaller space, and they tend to be grown in polytunnels now, cherries, because things like birds absolutely love them. Right, so we'll move into the polytunnel now and have a look at some of the Dixie Red peaches. Okay, so we'll go into here now. The thing with peaches, in my experience, is they tend to all come very quickly. You can see a bit of June drop is coming. They're falling on the floor, and some of them, and that's not to be unexpected. Now, one intriguing thing about growing peaches is quite often they look very small, and then suddenly they get a lot bigger in size. So there we go. Now you can see that peach there. Look, put my hand. That's a really good size. Now these will be ready very quickly indeed. And this tree is carrying an absolutely magnificent crop. Now, excusez-moi, I purchased this tree from Blackmore Nurseries a few years ago, and I have not been able to find anyone stocking this tree recently. I've looked on the internet because a few of my viewers have said they'd like to get a Dixie Red for obvious reasons. It's a very early fruiting variety, and you can see it crops prolifically, so who wouldn't want one? But yeah, they're a US variety, but I've not been able to see any for sale. So if anyone knows, post down below, because I think a lot of people may be interested, because there we go. So there's loads more around. As I just take the camera around, you can see just how many are on this tree here. So now I've spoken a lot about peach leaf curl and avoidance of it. Now, for those of you who have followed me for a while, you're probably totally bored with me mentioning it, but I had a question the other day of, do I have a problem with peach leaf curl? So I will answer it. Now, with this tree, no. And basically the way that I avoid peach leaf curl is I grow the tree in this polytunnel, which stops it getting wet during the time of year where the problem comes. So basically the advice is, don't let your tree get wet when the tree is leafing out, from rainfall. Okay, and then when the temperature falls below about 16 degrees C, and then the tree gets wet, when this tree starts to leaf out, that's when peach leaf curl becomes a problem. So I'm going to link a video down below that I've done on this subject, a big video, but that's it in a nutshell. Now, I personally have gone one step further than that, and I don't let this tree get wet at all. Obviously it gets a little bit of condensation and things like that, but I basically, excuse me, I stop it getting wet year round, so it's always in this cold polytunnel, which is unheated. Okay, if you've got peaches, you must not heat the polytunnel or greenhouse during the winter, because they need a dormant season, so they grow perfectly well here in the UK. So in a nutshell, okay, don't let your peach tree get wet. There you go. Now, some of you may be asking, well, how do they grow them in Portugal and places like that? Well, I actually spoke to a man who has a house in Portugal, and he grows peaches there in the garden, and he hadn't even heard of peach leaf curl. And I explained to him the causes of it, and he said, that's because at that time of the year in Portugal it doesn't rain. So there we go. So that's the answer of peach leaf curl in a nutshell. So when the peaches are finished in here, the autumn royal grapes. Now, with regards to these grapes, when I leave the door open, and even if the door is closed to a degree, they get plenty of sunshine here, across here. So what I'm going to be doing in future is probably just allowing this to set fruit here. And I'm probably going to remove this part of the vine where it doesn't get too much sun. So there we go. Okay, so the Dixie Red is not my only specimen. So I've actually got a peach tree here. This is variety Peregrine. Now, this is a newly acquired tree. I think I bought it late last year. And you can see it's set one peach there, which I'm incredibly grateful for, considering it's first year in my possession. So this is a later fruiting variety than the Dixie Red, okay? Yeah, so I just looked at that, look. Fruits, you can't see it, but early August. So it also says, okay, once again, protect from winter rainfall to control peach leaf curl. So once again, I don't let it get wet, okay? It's here in this polytunnel here, which is a bit bigger than the other one. So that brings me on to my nectarine. So this is variety Lord Napier. Now this, once again, I purchased, I think it was late last year. About, yes, the same time more or less that I got the Peregrine. So, here we go, this is it here. Once again, it must be protected from winter rainfall. This and the Peregrine are in a pot, and the Dixie Red is in the ground. So, there you go. Now, this winter, I'm going to be acquiring probably some more peaches, maybe some more nectarines and some more cherries. These are things that I really, really want to push because A, they are delicious, but also when it comes to a bit of economy, they're relatively expensive to buy, cherries and peaches, in terms of money when one thinks about it. Although I will say the effort that I know it takes to bring that perfect crop to the shelf, to the table, I don't think it is expensive, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. So there we are. Now, looking down here, the older melons are really coming on down here. The plants are coming on anyway. Whether there's any melons or not down there's another matter. Right, there we go. If you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and you can always check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram if indeed you're interested. See you next time. Just a quick note on this. This tree has got an infestation of aphids, black fly, whatever, at certain parts of it. And of course that attracts ants, as you can probably see there. So I'm keeping a close eye on that. I did spray this with some pesticide-free spray, which can be used in organic gardening, I understand. So if I get good results with it, which I think I have had so far on the runner beans, it works by another pigeon. It works by physical action. So basically makes them fall off, as opposed to it being like something, like artificial spray, which would actually kill them. This works by physical action. So there we go. Right, off I go.